Hello everyone, today I'm going to be showing you how to make crab dumplings, or my version of crab dumplings. I was going to do crab wontons, but not a lot of people like so much cream cheese in their food, which I understand. I like cream cheese a lot, but I'm a fat guy, so what can I say? So the only thing you're going to need for this, it's not that many ingredients, and they're also relatively cheap, which is, I love that. So we got wonton wrappers here. It doesn't matter which one you get. These are vegan, but I can never find the ones that aren't vegan, so I just use these. A little bit of cabbage. The whole head of cabbage is pretty big for this. You only need about 1/4 of a head of cabbage, so just try to get one on the smaller side. You don't really need that much. And I got a pack of imitation crab here. This is also really cheap. This was only like $4 for this. Red pepper flakes to give it some spice. A little bit of sesame oil to make it taste more on the Asian side, as well as the soy sauce, which helps a lot. And make sure you try to get Kikkoman or something that's a good quality soy sauce, because I got a soy sauce a few weeks ago and it tasted very fishy and bad. So make sure your soy sauce is good. And some adobo all-purpose seasoning. This has garlic in it and a little bit of onion powder, which I like. I like using this because it makes things taste pretty good. So these are all the ingredients, and let's get started. Alright, so here's the piece of cabbage, and I'm going to just take a little bit off that I want. So let's say go this way. This probably isn't I guess this isn't the best way you can cut the cabbage, but I'm just doing this because I know I just want this much on the end here. Alright, be careful too. These cabbages are very hard to cut into. So you get that there. Take off the layers that are kind of on the outside. Also, of course, make sure you wash these before you use them. Alright, got a nice piece of the cabbage there, and I like to kind of keep them all a solid piece, so I like to cut them in lines but keep them the same in the end over here, so that when I cut them this way they all stay in one shape. So let's see if we can manage that. Alright, so far so good. Good on this side. Always be careful when you're cutting. You want these pieces of the cabbage to be as small as possible, because when you steam your dumplings, you want these to get really soft and break down a little bit. You don't want chewy pieces of cabbage in there. Alright, and just go back and just get these as small as you can. Again, you don't have to go crazy, but it'll cook a lot better if these pieces are a little bit smaller. So that's kind of what you want to do. Alright, so I'm okay with this. I'm just going to add this to my bowl. Try not to spill so much. Okay, and for the crab, we're only going to take the pieces that we need. So we're going to try to get as many pieces of crab as equal to cabbage, so we don't have too much of one thing or the other. So I'm trying to see how much it looked like that I had before. You know what, I like crab. Let's just do a little bit extra. I also have a lot of wonton wrappers, so that's good. So put this extra crab meat to the side and start making the crab into fine pieces. And the crab meat is really easy to break apart, and sometimes you can even smush it down, and it makes it easier for you to see these little lines that go through it, which makes it easier for you to kind of just go with those lines and make it into tiny squares or rectangles, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Again, when you mix this, a lot of the crab is going to break down in the bowl after you mix it. The important pieces to cut are the crab meat that looks like these, the ones that look like they come out of like the crab legs. These need to be cut a little bit finer because they actually don't really break apart too easily unless you cut them really well. I can see smushing them. Smushing them kind of helps too. Let's chop these all up. If I make them thin enough, when I put them in the bowl to mix them, they will break apart easily. So I'm just kind of shaving these down, getting some nice deli slices of crab meat here. So when I add it, they'll break apart easily in the bowl. Which is going to be awesome. These are going to taste great with all that spicy stuff and the cabbage and the soy sauce and everything. It's going to be so good. And as you go, just make sure they're fine. And then move what you got into the bowl. Actually, smushing them makes this much easier. I don't know. I haven't used imitation crab that much, so this is new to me as well. But I do know it's going to taste really good when it's all steamed up with the cabbage and the spices. There you go. Smush it down a little bit. Alright. Get these all cut up. This one came out better. See, these are very fine pieces. That's good. Don't lose any of this crab. If I had a food processor, this would be a lot easier, but I don't. That's why I have to do this. So sorry for this part, but this is essential for me. But it'll all be worth it. Well, it's a nice steamed, seasoned crab dumpling. And the crazy thing is, the imitation crab tastes kind of good when it's like this, without being cooked. But when you cook it and it gets a little bit softer and like more heated, it tastes like really, really good. It makes it taste more real. Although to be honest, like compared to crab meat, this pretty much tastes the same. Chop it up. Nice. Last piece is here.
make these pieces count, make them real nice and small. Okay. All right, let's get to the mixing process. Okay, now we can start adding the soy sauce. So I'm just going to put, I kind of eye it, but it should be around 2 to 3 tablespoons. You don't want too much. It's just kind of enough so that every piece of this gets a little touch with soy sauce. Not too much, because you can add soy sauce later. You don't want to overpower it. This is another one, probably like 2 tablespoons. I'm just going to put a little bit. This is the sesame oil. So I'm just going to do that so it kind of makes it so it doesn't stick together and gives it a nice flavor. A little bit of that. Now we can put some red pepper flakes to give it some heat. Put a pretty decent amount on there. On the top, mix that in, perfect. Okay, so now we're ready to fill these wonton wrappers up with the crab meat and cabbage mixture we have there. And I have a pan here. It's a steaming pan that you put over a regular pot of water, and I have that buttered up so that the wontons don't stick to it. So I'm going to be making the little dumplings slash wontons, whatever you want to call them, and putting them into this. So let's start that. Okay, so what you're going to want is a little cup of water or something to hold water, so you can gently take a drop off and put it on your wonton wrapper. And you want a tiny spoon that you can use to dish out the meat and put it into your wrapper, like the right size anyway, whatever you want size-wise. It's best to use a very small one though, because this these wrappers are very small and they can't fit that much crab meat. Not much can go in here. So I'm going to put one of these down here. So you can see it best here. And then we're going to take a drop of water and just make sure all the sides get covered, not too much water. And then we're going to take a scoop of our mixture, put it down the center, and now we're ready to fold this into a tiny piece here, like this. I like to do it in this direction because this is the way I've always made them, but you pinch on the 4 sides together. Maybe a little bit pinch on the sides, not too hard or you'll rip the wonton. And you should get something like this. It's like a little tiny pillow. So that's one, and we'll put that aside. You can get a better view so you can see the next one. Alright, same thing. Just back a little bit. Get a scoop on there. And fold it up. Alright. Another one done. I love this look. You can fold these in all different types of ways, but this little pillow look is so cool. I love the way it looks. It looks so professional and cool. Alright. Yeah, and if you put too much filling in, it's really hard to close this, so it's important to not do too much. Yeah, then you're gonna look sloppy and it's not gonna come out the way you want. I'm thinking I'm gonna put some rice with these. That's gonna be good. Can't wait. Can't wait till these are finished steaming. And we're starting to get a nice little collection going here. Let's take it further out there. Whoops, that's the other way. Starting to look good, filling up this pan nicely. Alright. Scoop over here. Perfect. Smells so good. Oh, I can smell the sesame oil and the soy sauce. Ooh, these are gonna be so good. I'm excited for these little dumplings. Alright. It's almost therapeutic in a way to make these dumplings. That's one of the reasons I love to cook. I feel like whenever I cook, I kind of just zone out. In a good way. It's fun. It's very therapeutic for me. Pinch those, perfect. Alright. I'm only going to do enough to fill the pan. I'm going to have a lot left over, but I have a few ideas of what to do with that. And by a few ideas, I mean just continuing to make more and more of these dumplings. Whoops. See, this might be too much. Let me see if I can still close this one. Ah, see? That's what you don't want to do. Maybe I'll be able to close it. Barely. Yeah, that's a chubby one. Whew. Not as pretty. Definitely not as pretty. Got to avoid that. That is unprofessional. Let me see here. Wow. Got a scoop. All right. Let me just do this last one. And one more. Yeah, eventually you'll get very fast at this. I'm having an off day. I usually whip these up really quickly. Alright. There's my last dumpling. Let me just furthen this out a little bit. Alright, and you can see here, I pretty much filled up this steamer pan full of dumplings. So now we're ready to put it over the water and let it steam for about 10 minutes because all the ingredients are already cooked. Okay, I filled up our pot about like half full of water, not too much. The water goes a long way, so you don't need that much. And I have our second pot here, which is the dumplings that are inside here with the cover on in that little steamer. So you're going to let that boil up until it gets nice and hot, and pretty much stay inside there for about like 10 minutes. 10 minutes is enough because everything's all cooked. Maybe actually, you know what, 15 minutes is probably better because you would like the cabbage to get soft, and cabbage is very hard. So yeah, and then after that you have your option if you want to fry them or whatever you want to do with them, but they're perfectly fine this way. And they're going to come out really good and nice and steamed, and I can't wait to show you what they look like. Alright, it's been like 15 minutes and the dumplings are nice and steamed. It's looking good. So now I'm just going to transfer them to another surface. I'm just putting on this little wax paper on this side here because I have a bunch more dumplings to put in the steamer. So, but yeah, they're looking great. And after this process, like I said before, you can always throw them in a pan full of butter and get them crispy. These are just steamed, which is healthier, but they do taste really good when they're crunchy and fried too. Okay, so we already got a bunch of dumplings done over here, looking awesome. And then I got more dumplings in here that are steaming up. I'm actually running out of room for all these dumplings. So this is really good, and I guess I'll start on making some rice because I love putting white rice with dumplings and putting a little soy sauce on it. It tastes really good, so let me go ahead and start one of those. So we're going to do equal parts rice to water. So I get 2 cups of rice. Okay, 1 cup of rice. 2 cups of rice. And now I like to use fresh water because I don't want to use sink water. I don't trust any of that. We'll do the same amount of water as we did rice. So 1, and there's the 2nd cup. And there's only not that much left, so I'm going to throw a little bit more. Alright. Turn on the flame. And now what we're going to do is we're going to wait for this rice to bubble up, and then when it bubbles up I'm going to put it on the lid on top and steam it. So this should be done in about 15 minutes, and I'll come right back. Okay, so the rice is bubbling. So now what we're going to do is put this on a really low flame. I'm going to turn it down. And you put it as low as you can go. Then we're going to cover that up. And you're going to leave the rice in there covered up probably for about like 8 to 10 minutes just to let the rest of the water get off so it can get nice and fluffy and white and not so watery. Okay, the rice has been cooking for like 15 minutes. It's all finished up now. It's nice, white, and fluffy. And our dumplings over here are ready too. Alright. Got a plate here. this up. And, of course, perfect. It's looking good. Okay, well, we had a lot of extra rice. From making the dumplings. So what I'm going to do is put this rice with some rice vinegar, mix that up a little bit, and we're going to be making sushi. And I have the seaweed paper here, and I have the crab meat from before, and we have all the veggies over here, the avocado, celery, and cucumber, and I got these little tuxedo sesame seeds, which is going to make it look nice and professional when we're finished. Okay, we're going to add in a little bit of the rice vinegar, just a little bit, just to coat it. Not going crazy with this. This is just going to help it stick and be the consistency we want. Okay, I would say that's like maybe like a tablespoon and a half. Really not that much, especially because it's such a small portion of rice. Oops. Nice, now it's getting that sushi consistency we want. It's getting nice and sticky because of the vinegar, it's perfect. Alright, the rice is done. Let's start with those veggies. Okay, now what you want to do is, we have our bowl of our white rice with our rice vinegar, and you're going to want to have the same thing with the dumplings, a little bowl of water, so you can get some water on your hand, and when you grab the rice, it won't stick to your hand, so we can start putting it on top of this paper. And you want to be not putting too much rice on this, because you don't want your sushi to be a giant rice ball. It's not going to look right. So, okay, now we got our little tuxedo sesame seeds, and I'm just going to put it on top to give it that real authentic sushi look and taste, because this does add a really nice taste to it, and with the rice vinegar and these sesame seeds, it goes really well together. Wow, this is actually looking pretty professional. All right, so that's good with that. I'll get a little close up here so you can see the detail on that. Yeah, that looks good. That looks like a legit sushi wrap. So now we're just gonna pack this up and keep it to the side so we can finish our other veggies. I'm gonna cover this up and move it away. I'm just gonna do lines down the whole celery so I can eventually put this in the sushi roll. Okay, let's cut the edges off. and we're going to cut it down the center. Okay. And now with each half, you're just going to take the seeds that are inside it and get them out and put them into garbage or whatever. We don't need the seeds. We just need the outside part of it. So I'll get rid of these, and they come out really easy. Okay. Okay, now we can start cutting our cucumber, and we're just going to cut it in half to make it a more reasonable size. And we just cut it in half again this way. All right, and then we can just give it more cuts like that. Perfect. Pit. And then you're going to cut it in half like this. And then that makes it easier for you to do slices this way. So then you can cut it so it's made for the sushi, like that. I'm only going to use these two pieces because I'm making this one roll, so I'm going to save this avocado for something else. So we have our sushi wrap here, and we want to have this rice on the outside. So I'm just going to turn this over, and I'm using wax paper because I'm hoping that when I'm using this wax paper, it's not going to stick too much. Okay, I'm trying to keep this intact as much as I can. And I like to make a little crease here, so I'm going to put a little bit of a crease in my sushi roll so I can start adding the ingredients. And this will help me roll. Got a little bit of a crease there. Let's put in our ingredients. A little of that. Some crab meat. Put some more on the end here. And make it a pretty generous portion of crab. Okay. Got our celery sticks. Okay, and now we add, oh, we already did the cucumbers. Okay, I got the avocado. One over here. One avocado over here. And now what I like to do is I like to use the actual wax paper. You're supposed to use like a rolling pad, but I don't have one. So I'm gonna try to do this successfully without one of those. So you're just gonna roll this first portion up like this, and then give it a little bit of a pinch and secure the ingredients you have inside. Make sure it's all secure, and then pick this up and then roll the rest of it. And you get the rest of it rolled up here. Alright, let's see how that came out. Oh, that looks good. Looks like a good sushi roll right there. Let me get a close-up of that. Hold on. Oh, that looks good. Perfect. And now the only thing left to do is give this a few cuts and to plate it. There's a way I like to do this too. I like to cut it in halves to keep it an even shape. So I'll go with the first half here. Alright, and there we go. We've got some nice sushi rolls here. I tried to keep them a little bit less crumbly, but I guess I really do need a better rolling station because using this wax paper isn't the best, but it tastes very good and it looks really nice too. I like the greens. Next time I'll definitely add some more crab meat. Yeah, I wasn't happy with the first plate I made, so I made another sushi roll that looks much better. I guess when I was off camera I had more room to work, and this came out really pretty. I wanted to make it look really pretty for you guys. I got all the cucumbers and celery kind of as a plate, got the avocado in the center, but yeah, that looks much better. And these are holding very well too, so you can pick them up with chopsticks. You put this with soy sauce, it'll be great with those dumplings. Everything will go together so well.